Good morning, Jen. How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Absolutely fantastic. I'm very proud of you for writing a book that is, I want to say, it is simple, small town. It's very family, but at the same time, it's very challenging about family. There's a real authentic story here, Jen.
Oh, thank you.
To be this transparent on the page. Because Lou is a great character, and a lot of people are going to see themselves in Lou, but at the same time, they're going to see themselves as King and everybody else as well. How did you find the authenticity of these characters and bring it to the paragraphs?
So I think that when you're a writer, if you're writing from the heart and you're writing with empathy and you're writing those true things, and you're not shying away from them, you're going to end up with an authentic voice, and you're going to end up with a story that resonates.
So is that part of the reason why when Lou realizes, wait a second, I'm not feeling anything with this soft kiss from Wyatt, something's not right here?
Yeah, right. So that's an experience that I had, and I recognize that for Lou, she might just be a character on the page, but she also has a body and a heart and a soul, and she experiences the world.
I got to talk to you about the cover of the book, because the emotions that are on this, because it's a simplistic smile, smirk. It's like, God, I'm facing life. I'm a young girl, but there's so much just in the book itself, and I know we're not supposed to judge a book by its cover.
Oh, but I totally don't mind if you judge this book by its cover. Reina Hernandez, who did the illustrations, is just an incredible artist.
So now, when you have a book like this, and I know that it's for YA readers and things like that, but you're going to have some authentic adults reading this book as well, because it speaks to them in ways, and it spoke to me in a way that's like, this was about my life as well.
Yeah, so that's one of the really exciting things about YA is that while I'm writing for teens primarily, anyone can pick up this book. And we all like to read stories about coming of age, and we like to read stories about firsts. And YA tends to be stories about firsts and stories about coming of age. So you can be any age and enjoy what happens in a YA book.
Did you get to write the inside sleeve of the book? And the reason why is because I love the quote, ice cream is good, but ice cream can't fix everything. I really took that to my heart.
Right? That is life lessons right there. So that line comes from the book. The inside sleeve was a combination of stuff that my agent wrote back in the day, and then stuff that my editorial team put together and then shared with me, and then I shared a few thoughts. So it was a collaborative effort.
Let's talk about that team, because a lot of listeners tune in because they are writers, they're hider writers, but they want to be inspired to release what it is that they put on paper. So when you speak of a team, what is that life like? We've seen it in Hollywood movies and on TV shows, but when you live it and you've got to work with that team, what are you going through?
So I'm not sure Hollywood TV shows and movies get it right. If you're in the business and you watch any of those, you're like, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
What is it like working with a team? So one of the things about publishing is that you can't access high-level commercial publishing without an agent.
Yep.
But your agent should be your absolute best advocate. If you need anything or if you need support, my agent, who is Patricia Nelson, she's absolutely 100% there for me. That kind of teammate is incredibly important in a business that is filled with rejection.
Yeah.
And then when you have a fantastic editorial team, what they do is they ask questions that help you to think more about why you wrote the thing you wrote so that you can make it better.
Yep.
And this book only got better through the editorial process because of a fantastic team.
So many people are afraid of those editors. It's like a program director in radio. Every time you look at them in the hallway, it's like, oh God, here comes the judgment call. But editors really do work one-on-one with you.
Yeah, and they are able to see your story in a way you can't.
Right.
Because it's your story, you are inside of it. And you need someone with a critical eye who can see outside of the story to get you to see your story differently.
The book we're talking about is The Summer of Bitter and Sweet. Let's talk about King, because I mean King's been gone for a few years, and you know there is a mystery to this. But Lou feels right. But is it the right move?
Is it the right move to reestablish a friendship with King? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, because I mean, you know, I would be so leery of 3 mysterious years. I really would. I mean, as a human being, I'd be going, yeah, King, where you been, buddy? What you been doing?
Yeah. So Lou isn't worried about what King's been up to. Lou is worried about if they can have a friendship.
Right.
Because Lou feels guilty. She lied to King about like fundamental truths about who she was at 15. And they parted ways because of her lies in a lot of ways. So she feels guilty, and she's not sure if she can be friends with him again. She's less worried about what he's been doing and more worried about herself.
Right, right. But see, isn't that what today is all about? I mean, if the average person had a father like Lou, and all of a sudden here comes this letter, how would the average person react? And I'll bet you people will put the book down and think about it before they jump back into the next paragraph.
Oh, of course. Like those are one of the reasons we turn to entertainment, to books and to movies, is to be able to ask those questions in a safe way without being confronted by our kind of monstrous father, right? We want to be able to experience that in a safe way. And so you can do that here in this book. You can think about how it would apply to your life without having to deal with it in your life.
I realize the ice cream store and stuff like that is part of the family business and stuff, but don't you think that YA readers are going to look at this story and say, I want to work at an ice cream shop. I want to go and I want to be able to do something.
You know what? I had my first job when I was 16, and I've pretty much worked permanently since then because I really liked work, and I liked the idea of making my own money, and I liked the idea of being responsible for something. But also, I hope teen readers like recognize that ice cream is sticky and food service is not always glamorous.
As a writer, you like to put things out there. I mean, nothing's holding you back when it comes to creating conversations. I mean, you talk about things within your words that really kind of relate with today, but at the same time, it's almost like you're teaching people as well, saying, okay, this has happened in your life too. This is how it's going to happen here.
So what I do for my day job is I'm a professor and I teach fiction writing, but I also teach literature. So I spend a lot of time with thinking about the world and thinking about how we as writers write about the world.
Yep.
But I'm also someone who doesn't shy away from having hard conversations. And I think that is really evident in The Summer of Bitter and Sweet.
I love that you are that style of a writer. I do a thing on iHeartRadio called The Daily Mess, and that's exactly it. I talk about the daily mess. What do we and people go, dude, you got a little bit too real. Yeah, it's a daily mess.
and that's what our lives are messy. They really, truly are, and we need to embrace that, I think.
So where is your favorite place to write? I mean, writers have their own little areas, but I mean, when I sit down with a writing instrument, I mean, I know where I need to be in order to feel that vibe.
That's a good question. So I currently live in Los Angeles in a 500-square-foot apartment, so I don't have a lot of places to write, and with an ongoing pandemic, going out and writing in the world hasn't really been possible. So I tend to write really well sitting on a yoga ball with a lap desk and a big glass of unsweetened iced tea with lemon.
Wait a second. You're talking to somebody who lives in the South. What do you mean unsweetened? Come on, Jen.
Yeah, no, I can't do sweet tea. I just can't do it.
So where can listeners and readers find you and give you a lot of love? Because they need to put this book, The Summer of Bitter and Sweet, into their life this year.
So you can find me at jenfergusonwrites.com, I'm also on Twitter at Jenny Lee SD, and I'm on Instagram at j.ferg.
Good. You got to come back to the show anytime in the future. The door is always going to be open for you, Jen.
Thank you so much.
You be brilliant today, okay?
Yeah, you too.